Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by for another episode of the podcast. We've got a fun conversation today all about wine. As you can see by the title, the top 10 countries we enjoy drinking wine from. And I say we, and you go, who's we? What do you mean we? There's a guy who used to be on the podcast frequently, as a co-host named Carter. And hey everybody, he is back. Carter, how are you, buddy?
Oh man, I am great. Yes, long hiatus, but time to get back into the swing of things when I can. Sorry, guys. I will admit, just who's been longtime listeners of the podcast and who know me and that kind of thing. I had a family, started a family, and I have a 2-year-old and a newborn.
Yeah, he's girl dad. He's got 2 girls.
Yeah.
He's got 3 ladies in the house. Now, I'm curious to see how the next 15 years go.
Yeah, it could be a little rough. But it's been kind of occupying a lot of my time, free time and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try my best to get back on and occasionally have a podcast, but probably a lot more videos, I would say. So definitely check out the YouTube channel.
Great segue to, the YouTube channel's up and going. And we're just doing a variety of things on there. We're cooking some things. We're doing some wine tastings, some whiskey tastings, and just trying to have some fun. And again, we're just these average guys who enjoy food, wine, and whiskey. And as we explore, we're just kind of trying to share what we're finding, what we're doing, what we're drinking, what we're eating with everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss to say if we, this is about wine today. However, as we've been known to do once in a while, we're kind of collabing with tasting some whiskeys as we're talking about wine.
Yeah, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, the name of the show is Food, Wine, and Whiskey, right?
Yeah, shouldn't we be drinking whiskey while we talk about wine? Isn't that kind of the normal thing to do? You wouldn't drink wine while you talk about wine.
That sounds kind of, but you might be biased in, since we're giving top 10s and stuff, you might be biased in what you have in your hand, in your glass,
That's true. That's a fair point. So people will know now that when we talk about whiskey, we'll probably be drinking wine.
That's right. I don't mind that at all. So what we're doing today and what we're trying today is, unfortunately, these bottles are not available in the United States. Wild Turkey does still have a lot of, I guess they kind of go to their roots when whiskey.
We say roots when America gave up on them.
Yeah,
Europe and Japan did not, and so they get treated pretty well, Europe and Japan, to this day. Even though there's this bourbon craze going on still, a decade in. Wild Turkey, I give them credit for this. I really don't hold a grudge for this. They still treat Japan and Europe and other places over there that supported them through the 80s very, very well.
When there was a bourbon glut, Asia and other parts of the Eastern Hemisphere were definitely buying more whiskey than we were, and kind of keeping them alive. So they have a lot of exclusives that they'll just release over there. I think we talked about at one point in time the rare breed uncut unfiltered. I think we had
non-chill filtered,
yeah,
which is a delicious bottle right up there.
Yeah. I think that's either export. It's either traveler only or export.
It's travel for sure, I believe.
Yeah,
I think it's just travel.
But another great bottle. And these two are age-stated Wild Turkey 101s. We're both a fan of Wild Turkey 101.
I think so.
But yeah, you're wearing the shirt there.
Come on.
Absolutely, man. But these are age-stated Wild Turkey 101s. So this is an 8-year that we have here and a 12-year Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, and 12 years, the big brother that's just kind of beaten up on I feel bad for the 8-year-old right now.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the wine videos that we do, where sometimes when you compare them against each other, it's not really a fair fight. But on its own, it would be absolutely amazing. But when you nose these two, I mean, you go.
there's This one's already hit puberty.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to say
Yeah,
it. Well, and talk about what years these are from, because these are recent. Sometimes people see these Japanese or overseas releases and they think Dusty's all this, but these are still new things that are going on.
These were both released in 22, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, their recent release is only a couple years ago that they started doing these. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a couple of these. I've got a backup bottle of each, and I almost bought a liter of the 8-year. That somebody posted on some of these nefarious sites
that you're a member of.
that I've occasionally,
Just swipe through.
yeah. I just ignored them, but I saw a liter of the Wild Turkey 101 8-year, and I almost jumped on that. But anyway. We can try these as we're talking about wine and kind of give you our thoughts.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to say that I really like about Wild Turkey still putting out releases like this, the bourbon community as a whole, their offerings are getting younger and younger and younger.
Yes.
And Wild Turkey still does a great job of keeping us with some 8-year and 12-year age-stated offerings, but we also know, even 101 has 6, 8, 9, maybe sometimes a little bit older stuff in it. Rare Breed has some older, 10, 12-year-old stuff in it. So it's nice that Wild Turkey still does that. And to me, that's kind of what makes it my favorite distillery.
Yeah.
Really
I'm a big
is.
fan. Yeah. But
all right, to the topic.
Okay, to the topic. We're talking wine countries.
Yeah, and we've done on this show before, Carter and I, our top 5 series where we've had some fun picking, top 5 things. And when it comes to countries for drinking wine, 5 just wasn't going to cut it. That's almost too easy.
Oh,
for your top 5 countries.
Way too easy.
When you get to 6 through 10, or maybe even 5 through 10, now it starts to get a little tougher on who you're going to put in there and where you're going to position them. Why are you positioning them there?
Yeah.
So, did you have some criteria for forming your list?
Not really. It might be, and honestly, this list could probably change for me in the next 2 months.
Yeah, I think it's a fluid thing and should.
Particularly toward the end of the list. Because there are some... I have this strange feeling places like France and Italy are going to be toward the top.
Yeah, I think most people might think that.
Yeah. So, and I don't think their positions are going to change too much.
Here's a curious one for me. Where does the USA fall in your list? And we're going to find out. I know it's in there. If it's top 10, it's got to be in there.
Oh, it's
where it's positioned in the top 10.
Yeah. We'll start working on that. Now, the question I have for you, and we didn't really talk about this when we put this podcast together, is are we going to go from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
That was another question I had. I almost feel like you need to go 1 to 10 because those are the obvious ones.
I agree.
Because if we don't, by process of elimination, we haven't mentioned them. They know they're coming. So I want to know 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe where we position those. But then it's going to get interesting all the way down to 10. Who made our top 10?
Yep. Okay, I'm glad we're aligned.
Yes,
we're aligned.
Perfect.
Here.
We usually are.
Yeah. So okay. So who wants to start?
Well, and I think we ought to go 1, 1, 2, 2, and reveal all the way down. I do want to say I had some criteria for my list. One, it has to be wines that I enjoy from that country, right? You're not going to put them on your list if you don't enjoy drinking wines from that country. 2 was QPR. What's the quality to price ratio? Do I get bang for my buck in that country? And 3 was, in that country, do I get variety? Is there a lot of things to pick from and choose from that I can explore and enjoy? So that was kind of my criteria. I will tell you, I put in parentheses for variety in most cases. Because there might be a couple countries on my list that you go, it's only one wine you like from there. Yeah, that's really all I know from them, but it's freaking good.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that too. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same the same ballpark
here. Okay.
So I have a feeling. Can I call my shot?
That number ones are the same?
I don't think they are.
Oh, really? Okay, you go. What's your shot? What are you calling your shot?
Yours is Italy.
Oh yeah, mine's Italy.
Okay.
I mean, only a fool would not have them there. Go ahead.
Mine's France.
Like I said.
And here's the reason I think we've talked about the Italy thing. I mean, great wines, good value. Generally
Don't
speaking,
sound like you're degrading Italy. I mean, that sounded a little.
I'm actually
offensive to
propping
me.
it up
Okay.
because I think it's an obvious number one choice.
Okay.
I had to.
I'm going to be curious to hear your answer because then I'm going to have a rebuttal, of course.
I actually wanted this list to be a little different
Yeah.
because I knew that you would have Italy first, and
Yeah.
I thought about it for a while, and I was thinking about.
And this 12-year-old smells good.
Good Lord, that does not come off right. But anyway, so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about kind of some. Okay, so yeah, of course, Burgundy's expensive.
Yeah.
Northern Rhone is expensive. Great wines.
Not all Northern Rhone, but I think anywhere you can go, you can get expensive wines.
But I started thinking about some other things that I like to drink a little bit more frequently. And that's kind of what pushed me toward France.
Okay.
And I'll explain. So I really like Tavel. I'll drink it's not an expensive wine. And my wife really likes rosés. So I like Tavel. I think it's very unique and it's something very different.
Fair enough.
I like sparkling wine a lot. And
No, if you're going to go France, well, no, you don't have to just say champagne. There is some good sparkling. all over,
we've had the
Cremants from
from
Alsace,
Alsace
yeah.
and in different places that are really
Yeah.
good. And I think sparkling wine, which both me and my wife really enjoy.
French Quarter. Okay, go ahead.
French Quarter is great. I mean, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, I started thinking about things that I drink a little bit more regularly.
Okay.
And that's why I actually put France number one. Is there are more wines that I drink on the regular.
So you're saying you drink French wine more than you drink Italian wine?
I do actually.
Okay. That's a fair point, though. I mean, if you do, and that's your reason, that's what you enjoy, those wines, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just giving you a hard time.
And I did it again. I love Italy. I mean, I love their wines.
Yeah.
But I just started thinking about, boy, we certainly open up a lot of Tavel at our house, and we certainly open up a lot of champagne at our house, and we certainly open up a lot of Cremant at our house. And I started thinking about, I think we just drink those more often.
Let's, while you're in France, give me we kind of know where you're going, but your top 5 regions you enjoy drinking in that country.
I mean, champagne's number one.
Okay.
Southern Rhone.
Southern Rhone.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more value. Grenache, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the Gigondas.
Gigondas.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that.
And I'll give you the Rhone Valley. I mean, to me, a lot of people break it up to north and south, but I'm going to go Rhone Valley, and you get all of it.
Chablis,
It's a great one.
big fan. Probably thinking also, I actually like, now, I'm not going to kind of, Burgundy is great. And the reason I actually think some of the village wines in Burgundy that have a little bit more value to them, that aren't cru wines and that kind of thing, are really good. You can get some value. You have to hunt a lot harder.
Yeah, you have to go to the regions that aren't, or the areas that aren't as marketed or as well known, because prestige. People know it. They drive up the price.
Absolutely. So there are and honestly, it kind of sucks. I this is probably a bold statement, and somebody's going to prove me wrong on this. But some of the worst village wine in Burgundy is probably better than some of the best wine, Pinot Noir in Oregon.
And a better price.
And a better price. So, I don't know. I mean, that's probably going to get me some heat there. But
I don't know. It's an opinion.
Yeah. But then you're talking, Cremant.
From every region, just about. But you didn't mention one, unless I missed it, that I thought you would.
What's that?
The Loire Valley.
Oh, for sure, that too.
There's the Chenin Blanc and the Sancerre and the Pouilly Fumé and the Cap Franc.
Yeah, Loire Valley is great. I mean, that
people are going, wait a second, Rob, why are you so big on? Hey, look, I love French wines.
Yeah,
they're just not my number one.
I get it. I get it. And this was number 1 and number 2 were the biggest struggle on my list.
Yeah.
I mean, and it really just has to do.
So you're Italy, France for 1 and 2.
I am France, Italy.
France and Italy.
Yeah.
And I'm Italy, France, and we're going to get into both of those. So
I had a strange feeling that would be the same for that would be your.
And we can kind of knock these both out in this conversation, these two countries, because you're one with France, 2 with Italy. I'm 1 with Italy, 2 with France. And for all the reasons that you mentioned with France are the same reasons I love French wines. The reason Italy leapfrogs it to number 1 for me is when you think about French wines, these are the classic kind of noble wines, noble grapes. When you think about the Bordeaux grapes and you think about Pinot Noir and you think about Chardonnay, around the globe, everybody wants to make this.
Yeah.
Everybody does make this. Sometimes they call it Shiraz instead of Syrah from the Rhone Valley. And I'm okay with that. I mean, it does well in a lot of regions, and that's fine. As a guy who loves exploring the world of wine, when you go to Italy and you go from the north to the south, you're getting grapes and different expressions of wines that you just don't see anywhere else in the world. Now you're starting to see them kind of pop up. Australia's starting to do a lot of Italian varietals, but from whites to reds, you get a lot of different grapes that you just don't see everywhere else. So if you want to drink something, I say cool and fun and kind of unique and different, you can only get it in Italy,
I completely understand.
Where if I want a Syrah, I can get a good Syrah from a lot of different places.
That's
if
true.
I want a good Cabernet or Merlot or Cab Franc, I can get it from a lot. That's the only thing that leapfrogs Italy for me. Now, I'm making that statement that I can get those things other places. Believe me, I understand and I agree. France does them better.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's just such a chalk answer to say France, but the reason that I say France is actually for probably not the most popular worldwide grown things. I mean, Chardonnay, Chablis, of course, is grown everywhere, but probably not the reasons that you would think that a regular individual who would say, yes, France is my favorite wine growing area in the world.
Yeah.
I'm saying it more for different types of things,
Sure. And I'm making my comment more of a general, not towards you, but more towards the general statement of most people. Because people will go, I don't like a Bordeaux. I prefer Napa Cabs. Well, come on,
Have you tried the 12-year yet?
You're a sick man.
That's dirty. That is so good.
Did you try the 8-year first?
Yeah.
No? Oh, you did? I got to try the 8-year first. So, yeah, I love Italian reds. I think, then I get back to my QPR, quality to price ratio. I think if you're looking at a good Barolo or a good Brunello, you can get an outstanding one for a lot better price than you're going to get for a Burgundy or a high-end Bordeaux or something. So I like my quality to price ratio. And then, I already mentioned variety. I think just the country as a whole, white wine, and you will agree with me there, they have some great white wines.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now, if you asked me, if you had to pick one white wine and one red wine that's the best in the world, I might go to France and that pinning me down there.
It'd be tough to.
But Italy, when I take the country as a whole, that's my
Would you say
volume play
Would you say Chablis is up there?
Chablis is one of mine and Sandra's favorite regions. Can I tell you a region in Italy that's starting to challenge it? Mount Etna.
Okay,
An Etna Bianco.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh boy, if you haven't had an Etna Bianco off Mount Etna, the volcano, you talk about minerality in Chablis, the acid in Chablis. You get those same kind of things with Mount Etna.
Yeah, I need to try that. I've never had that.
Yeah,
I need to try that.
We'll open up one night and do that. But yeah,
cool.
So 1 and 2 there. I'm going to guess 3. We might be the same.
What do you got?
Spain.
Yeah. Same.
I just think, their whites are really good, and Riojas are really good. They make some beautiful Grenaches, so Spain. And then you get into the value, right? You can get aged stuff for, you can get a 2008 for $45. You're not going to find that anywhere else.
Yeah, no, I mean, Spain's a pretty clear number 3. I think it just sits there, and that's it,
Yeah, and to me, I would say in the world of, when you look at the greatest old world winemaking countries, Spain, France, and Italy are the three that I think come to most people's mind. But you say it, and then most people don't act on it. They go to French and they go to Italian wines. I don't think they drink enough Spanish wines, in my opinion. If I said, what's the best three countries for wine in Europe? Spain, Italy, France. Which do you love to drink? I drink French and I drink Italian. I don't drink a lot of Spanish. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can just get some of these great Riojas. I mean, like, I love Rioja, and you can get some really darn good Rioja for a pretty good value.
Yeah, for sure. That 8 year's good.
It is good.
That 8 year's rocking. I mean,
Yeah.
the proof, what is it? It tastes like 101 maybe?
Yeah, I think it's right at 101, actually.
Good call. I like to call my shot.
Yeah, that
Carter.
was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so what's number 4 for you?
Number 4 for me is Germany. And you go, Germany. Yeah. I have been exploring with some Pinot Noirs from Germany.
Okay.
And but it's really one grape that takes me to Germany. And it's because that grape is so freaking phenomenal. Might be the greatest winemaking grape in the world, and people who drink wine probably know what it is. It's Riesling. And so for me, because to your point about France, Sandra and I like to drink so much Riesling, it's kind of silly not to put it in there because we love it so much.
I have Germany is my next, is my number.
What's your 4?
USA.
You have it that high?
Yep.
Shame on you.
Why?
I don't know. I just think there's other countries that are above it.
I feel like you can get good quality varieties of wine in the USA.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I put it there. I feel like you can get a lot of good things. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I mean, we had a Pinot Grigio that was really delicious from Oregon. We had you can get amazing.
Are you going to go shopping for Pinot Gris from Oregon?
I would buy that one we tried.
No, are you going to go shopping for them, or if you look for Pinot Gris, you're going to go to Allsauce and stuff?
I mean, I'm
calling you out on your bullshit, man.
I'm just saying you get a lot of variety of wine in this country, like in the
But
U.S.
this is top 10 countries that we're drinking from that if I'm looking, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go for a wine, if I say, hey, Matt, I'm giving you 4 countries that you can pick a wine from for dinner tonight. USA, and I say, tell me the 4 countries you're debating through. USA is one of them.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would.
Wouldn't be mine.
I understand. I knew that was going to hit.
You're starting to piss me off, Carter.
All right.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, look, I got to say, I have like a lot of love for Napa and Sonoma. I do. That's kind of where I started my wine journey, I guess, and all that kind of thing. And so, I have a lot of love for that.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad call there. I really don't.
I mean, now, if you're shopping for wine and you have for instance, Zinfandel grows great in California.
Yeah.
And if you were shopping for Zinfandel, I think you would
I would tell you
consider
that's
it.
my number 1 red wine grape for red wine in California. To me, is Zinfandel. Not just Napa, but Sonoma makes some great ones.
Yep.
The Alexander Valley makes some great ones. So yeah.
And those are great wines.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, I think we as people who live in the U.S. and have seen value in other places do kind of crap on the U.S. a little bit harder.
Well, so
this could be a way bigger discussion point.
Yeah. So that's our 4s. Let's go to 5.
Okay.
You give your 5 first, which was Germany. You said
Germany.
Okay, because of Riesling. Okay. My
great wine. I mean, it's just an amazing wine.
Yeah. My 5 was Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't really have a big qualm about that. Australia's got great wines.
Yeah, they got great wines, and we're starting to get more of them imported here in the States, and they have that big variety.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Tasmania and get a beautiful Pinot Noir, you can get Cabernet. Of course, they're known for Syrahs, but white wines too. They do Chardonnays really well. They do Sauvignon Blanc. They do Rieslings really well. They're starting to do a lot of the white wines, the Nero Avila from Spain, a lot of the Sicilian wine grapes. So it's just a really cool place, and there's still some value there. I think that's changing to me.
Yeah.
The prices keep ticking up. We'll see You know, we talked about our list being fluid. Mine might change in a year. We talk about
Yeah,
it. Goes,
yeah.
Screw Australia. They're too expensive.
Too expensive.
But right now they're not. So they're number 5 for me.
Okay.
Number 6.
I put Argentina.
Okay.
And you know, look, you know, I'm just starting to get into things outside of Malbec in Argentina, but I really like Malbec.
Okay.
So I mean, it's one of my favorite wines.
And I will say Argentina makes some other great wines. I mean, they make some really good Cabernet. Mm-hmm. They make some really good Sauvignon Blanc. They make some really good Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a new world country, and I think it's a really damn good.
I would agree. I would say if you've not explored Argentina, you need to. It's really a great country to drink quality wine. And still, I mean, like any wine region, you can get some expensive wines there.
Sure.
But as a whole, you still get some quality for good value.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was your number 6?
Yeah.
My number 6 is Austria.
Don't hate that. It didn't make my list, actually, but was a great consideration.
Okay. Didn't make your list at all.
Did not.
That's interesting. For me, it's 2 grapes again. Yeah. Their version of Pinot Noir. I can't say it.
Yes.
Really have been exploring and enjoying those. And then, of course, Gruner Veltliner.
Gruner is so good.
One of mine and my wife's. It's up there with a Riesling, you know. Obviously, we like Riesling better. But it's one of those grapes that we absolutely love, and we keep several in the fridge all the time because it's just a favorite.
Gruner's amazing. But I don't know as much about the, red wine in Austria, but that's the reason it didn't make my list, because it's just one wine for me, a Gruner, and I do like it. Did you try the 12?
I did.
Oh Lord, it's so dirty. I mean, that's a great.
Holy cow!
That's a great drink.
I mean, the depth and complexity, the flavors you get on that, the finish is just lingering.
I'd almost be interested to try it against the Russell's 13.
We can do that. We might pull that out in a few minutes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I tell you, Michael Scott would just have a blast on these shows.
I think we actually kind of gear toward that. We lean in pretty hard.
Yeah, we do lean in.
Okay, so that was we're on what number now?
We're going to number 7.
Okay. Number 7 for me was Australia.
Okay.
So
kind of same reasons.
Making some great wines. Pretty good value at the current moment, So we'll see if that changes. But makes good wines. We're starting to see more of them in the United States. I do like Australian wine.
I like Australian wines. You heard all my reasoning, so I think it's a great pick.
Yeah.
So no issues there. Number 7 for me, USA, baby.
Okay, so you put them in the 7th spot.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same reason that you have France number 1.
Okay.
But flip it 180 degrees.
Okay.
What country do I not drink very much? USA.
Yeah.
But they do have some really good wines, and we still have some wines, and we have friends that bring it over, and we do enjoy it. If I'm going wine shopping, I don't remember the last time I bought an American wine, unless it was something from Santa Barbara, a Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, from over there. Or I'll go up to the Finger Lakes and get a good Chardonnay or a Riesling or something, a Cap Franc from up there, and do something like that. I do love the Finger Lakes. I will say that's an underrated wine region in the States that I don't think it's enough attention, enough love. But I still think overall, Sonoma's still got some pretty good value. Zinfandel, you mentioned earlier, I think is quality. But for me, it's just I don't shop it. I'll drink it when people bring, but I'm not going and buying wine from the USA very much.
I mean, I understand, because it is a big spend a lot of times to get quality.
Well, I think another reason is, you hear me always say it, Carter, keep exploring.
Yeah.
And when I got into the wine, the first 6 years, all we did was California wine.
Yeah.
So we did all that from Sonoma. We even went to Temecula, buddy, for wine. You're going, where's Temecula?
I don't even know where that is.
Down by San Diego, a winemaking region.
Wow. I didn't know nothing about that.
We've done the California part, and we've even explored a little bit in Texas, winemaking region, and again, the Finger Lakes. But my biggest reason is because I've already done that. I've gotten my feel of it, and now I kind of want to go, what else does the world have to offer from other places
Yeah.
related to wine? So I don't want to say it's bad, but I will agree with you that cost is another variable that pushes me out
Yeah.
because it is very expensive.
I would say, like, for instance, I mean, we've opened Pritchard Hill before.
Sure.
What's to argue about that? It's great wine.
It's great wine.
I mean, you know, we've opened up some, you know, Bacchus and Insignia, St.
Yeah.
Joseph Phelps, like type stuff. I mean,
Great wines. But people, when they go, wait, that's $2.50 a bottle?
yes, I understand.
Now they're going, but I can get a $100 Brunello that, you know, might be just as good. And that's
I
the
get it.
pushback. So I don't doubt that they make great wine. And I don't blame Napa. You know, if people are obviously paying for it, but I have heard rumors that there's a bubble and it may be about to pop for Napa, you know, for what they're charging for wines, for what they're producing.
Well,
And, you know,
it might
the
be-
economy's not great now. Disposable income's not as much as it used to be.
And I'd like to credit ourselves for exposing people to more value-oriented regions.
I would agree.
So yeah, I think that, I mean, the internet, YouTube, podcasting, all of these kind of things, you know, like people are just a couple clicks away from being able to go, hey, yeah, that Napa wine's $200. Like, you know, like what else?
What those guys say you could get? You
Yeah,
know, a Brunello or
yeah.
a Super Tuscan?
Yeah.
A Tiganillo for $140? You know,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll just try that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, they got some competition now.
Because those who don't know, and probably most do, but Super Tuscans are those same grapes, you know,
Yeah.
Cab
Oh, yeah.
Franc and
Yeah,
Cabernet and Merlot and some Sangiovese in there, but for the most part, it's those Bordeaux
Yeah.
varieties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
All right, number 8. I'll go with number 8.
Okay.
That's where I have Argentina.
I actually have Portugal as number 8.
Really? Okay.
And now,
Portugal did not make my list.
okay, I like dessert wines and fortified wine, and to the fortified wines, and that's what it's really like. Kind of put Portugal on this list for me. Like,
I could see where those would drive you. Here's my question, because Portugal almost made my list, but I felt like the reason it would, I'm okay with ports. I'm okay with sherries. They're not my favorite. My favorite is Madeira.
yeah,
And I couldn't remember, does Madeira belong to Portugal?
I think so.
Okay. I wasn't sure, so I didn't put it on. It would be an honorable mention just because I love Madeira so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. Well, I just, I threw it on there because of that. And then I really need to start exploring their wines a little bit more just in general.
Yeah.
Because I have heard there's some great wines out of Portugal. But I threw it on there more for the enjoyment of like the dessert wines and the fortified type wines.
Yeah.
And I've really kind of I've leaned pretty hard into those recently. So yeah, I do really enjoy those.
Well, and you make a very good point because you're right. I'm hearing through the wine communities of people who work in the industry that Portugal, look out, it's up and coming, and a lot more of their look, like a lot of European countries, they've been making wine for a very long time.
Sure.
And very good wine, it just hasn't been exported.
Right.
Now it's starting to be exported, and it's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Very good value. Now, I think I have 3 or 4 Portugal Reds that I've put in the fridge. I haven't explored them enough to really say that would be a reason. If I put Portugal on, for me, it'd be the same reason as you. It would be those dessert wines from,
Yeah.
for me, specifically Madeira. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm okay with port, but if I'm going to buy a fortified wine, I buy a Madeira every time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
If I want
port.
something really sweet, I might go a PX sherry.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
But like, I actually do like port quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's just it's not for everybody. I get
Well,
it. But
well, and it could be I haven't had the right ones.
yeah.
Because I haven't, drink a lot of those. So I might just need to be exposed by somebody who drinks them more to share with me.
Come on over, baby. So, all right, cool. Well, I mean, all right, you're not raising your eyebrows too hard at me on that one.
That was your number 8.
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you lead with 9 then.
Okay, so number 9 is going to be a weird one,
Okay.
but I've started really, really liking it.
Texas.
No, that's a country.
Texas, we're not our own country.
Oh, I mean, at one point.
I'm just
At
kidding.
one point. Okay, UK and
For bubbles specifically?
for bubbles specifically.
Okay. I've had a couple of offerings of their, one that jumps to mind is Ridgeview,
Yes,
which is made in that champagne, the traditional method.
it's gotten. They've got some good bubbles.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, I do like their bubbles. I'll be honest and tell you, that one never even hit my radar.
Yeah, the only reason it's even on the list is because I've been it's more recency bias.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough, though. I mean, if you're drinking it, it's in the front of your mind. You're really enjoying it. You think it's quality. It's going to be something you drink a lot. Yeah.
That's it.
I will tell you that you bring that up, and it's a very good point because I thought about countries like Uruguay and Mexico and New Zealand and Canada that make wine that I know. I never, on my list, put the UK.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah,
That's a very good.
Just
I had Georgia and Greece and places
yeah,
like
Georgia's
that.
great. I mean, like there's some Greece. I don't know jack crap about Grecian wine.
I don't either. They're kind of like Portugal in the sense that they're starting to export more, but a lot of people will tell you one of the very first countries to make wine.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean,
So they've been making it for a long time. It's just you don't walk into a store and see a big section for Greece. you
just don't.
You just
Yeah.
don't. But maybe in 5 years you will.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. The UK. I would have never thought that. For me, number 9 was Chile.
I don't know enough about Chilean wine.
Yeah.
So
I would say, similar to Argentina as far as quality and style. To me, they're more known for their cabs, where Argentina's more known for their Malbecs.
Yeah.
But still make some beautiful white wines. You
Yeah.
know, both of them on both sides of the Andes Mountains, so they get to both use, those slopes and that altitude
Yep.
for wine. And we all know the higher you go on a mountain or on, the steeper the pitch on a slope, produces some fantastic wines. So,
hey man,
Chile's a good place to go.
you can't create diamonds without pressure.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, we're to number 10.
Okay.
And obviously, I wonder if we're the same on this one. You want me to fire it off?
Yeah, go for it.
South Africa.
Same.
Are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
exact same.
Yeah.
I was gonna. South Africa.
Yeah, I like wines from South Africa. It's an area that I've been drinking a little bit. I want to drink more. They make some beautiful Pinot Noirs. They make some beautiful Chardonnays.
Yep.
They do make, if you've ever had a Pinotage, so this is a grape that's kind of, I forget what it is. It's Pinot Noir and something else that's kind of, mutated into this grape, but it's indigenous to South Africa. I would say it's a little bit of a controversial grape, meaning people either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I wouldn't say I love it, but it doesn't bother me. It's kind of unique and different, and so for that reason, it's always kind of fun when I get an opportunity to try one. But no, South Africa, I think there's some more exploring to do. But what I've had, I've enjoyed so much that I think I want to keep exploring in this country. So it made my top 10.
Yeah. Same here. And again, it's got some value to it.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
So those wines are, if you miss, you kind of just go, okay, well that one too. That didn't cost me too much.
Yeah.
But I do think they make some quality wines, and it seems like you're seeing more and more South American wine or South African wine available in the United States.
The other grape that people would complain at me if I didn't mention that's phenomenal from South Africa that we enjoy. Man, that's really good. It's kind of this acid and stuff is making my mouth water.
Oh yeah.
Chenin Blanc. When I think Chenin Blanc, I think Loire Valley and I think South Africa.
Yeah.
To me, those are the two best places in the world right now, in my opinion, to get Chenin Blanc.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Yeah.
Really, really good, and I've seen some really good stuff out of South Africa.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think we have a lot of... We didn't have much spirited debate except for on really USA.
Yeah. And I think Austria and Portugal are the only two that didn't make our list. And that's, I figured we'd have one or two that might be different.
I mean, I could throw Austria on there because I like Gruner so much, but I'm kind of like, okay, it's kind of the only thing I really know from Austria, so it wouldn't be really fair for me to throw it on the list.
You did it with Riesling.
Yeah, but I have Germany on there. Yeah.
But I'm saying that's Riesling,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
grape.
Yeah, it's so good though.
That's my
It's
point.
so good. I mean, in a way, like, Argentina. I don't know enough about. Like, I've tried some other things. Like, I've tried some cabs
Yeah.
and things like that are in Argentina that are done really well. But I mean, the real hitter there is, Malbec, right?
They're known for that. I don't know that I would say that's the real hitter. I mean, it's always good, but there's some other really good hitters there. The only reason I say that is if I say Australia, are you going to say the only real the big hitter there is Shiraz? Or would you go, well, hey, hold on, they make some badass Cabernet and they make some badass Pinot Noir,
Yeah, I would
They're
say
known
that.
for Shiraz.
They're known for Shiraz.
But I think they've, 20 years ago, I would have said that about both countries. Now I go, they've kind of evolved into making some great wines from a lot of different grapes.
And the value is good. The value is good out of Argentina.
Yeah, I would agree with you that I think there's certain grapes that take you to a region and then you explore and find the other stuff. And I think Malbec absolutely takes you to Argentina.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Chile might fall a little short because it's Cabernet that I think takes you to Chile. There's other parts of the world that you go, if I'm going to drink Cabernet, I'm going to go, Napa. I'm going to go Bordeaux or somewhere else. Where if I say you're going to drink Malbec, you don't go right to Bordeaux or Napa or places. Malbec really doesn't have another region where it's the star.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So, no, I mean, again, that's what put them on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Which the grape came from Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Brought over on a boat.
Again, that's why France is number one.
Shots fired.
But no, I mean, I think this is a fun little episode. I'm glad we're doing this, and talking about this topic because I do think we do this same time next year.
It'll be fun to compare and see how our list might have changed up or down.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of these will still be on there, but did they shift?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're talking about there's probably, like number 1 and 2, maybe they'll swap.
Be tough to beat them out.
But they're probably not going to get displaced, any lower than 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's kind of like Georgia football every year.
Yeah.
So sick of them and Alabama always being 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean.
Well, here's a question for you as we finish this up. What else was on your list for consideration that you go, it could potentially make my list next year? For me, I'll start. Portugal didn't make my list, but as I explored more of their still reds, and I do like some of their whites. Their Vinho Verde is a very good white wine that we like from there. It could pop on my list next year.
Austria,
Okay.
for me, I'd like to try something other than Gruner.
Okay.
And I'd also say Chile is something I have not.
Was Chile not on your list?
Nope, it was not on my
so we
list.
had 2 different.
Yeah. So Chile, I just don't know enough about their wine, so that's why I can't put it on the list.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think let's say the next 12 months, I'm going to try and get there and try more Chilean wines.
Yeah.
I'd say another region, Republic of Georgia, that kind of area, Armenia, things like that. Like to see, distilleries try some of that stuff. I know they tend to make a lot of sweet wines for the Russian population that tends to like a demi-sec type of wine.
Yeah.
But I do think they have some dry varieties, so I'd like to try it.
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned Uruguay, like some of those type of,
You're forgetting one that I know you're going to want to try more of. I'm going to say Greece.
Oh, that, yes, for sure. Yeah.
I knew it was on your list,
Yeah,
but
Yep, for sure. And I mean, there's
Uruguay's a great one. The other one I would say in that South America kind of Mexico.
Yeah.
They're doing some fun stuff. I actually had a blend from them of Nebbiolo and Cabernet Sauvignon, and I went, why the hell would you blend these 2 grapes?
How'd
And
that
then
work out?
I drank it and went, well, that's awesome. That's just delicious.
Okay, that's good.
That's a really good wine. And so, these things in our mind with wine that you go, you can't do that. Well, maybe you can.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
it'll work. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's other countries out there that I think,
So I'm saying that to say, don't just knock something right away because you go, that shouldn't work. I'm not going to try it. I would say if you can get a glass of it, try it that way before maybe buying a bottle, depending on the bottle. But if it's not too bad, sometimes, $20, $30 is worth it just to see if you It's still going to be drinkable. It may not be your favorite, but I would say it's probably still drinkable.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something I haven't gotten into, but this only really benefits my number one.
Okay.
Like sauternes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know jack anything about sauternes. Really.
That would be a fun one to drink more with you, some dessert wines.
So-
Not just sauternes, but you don't know Vinsanto either.
Right.
Or Recioto from the Veneto, the dessert wine up
Nope.
there. Okay, yeah. Dessert wines might be a video we need to do pretty soon and have you taste through a couple, which means we're going to eat a lot of dessert that day.
Sounds like diabetes and deliciousness. I don't know.
Although dessert wine can open up and stay open for a few days. Got enough sugar in there.
Yeah. No, I mean, but there are definitely some things like, and that's another reason like why Italy and France and some of these countries are gonna always be number one and number two because they can do so many things.
I'm going to tell you a country that might make my list on the next time we do this, that I've had some reds and whites from at a trade show, wine tasting trade show, about a month ago. Switzerland.
Okay.
Now think about it, up on the mountains. So what do you think they're making? Pinot Noir and Chardonnay,
You're kidding.
and it's phenomenal. So I've only had that one tasting.
They have
but
to
I'm
worry
like,
about frost though, huh?
well, I mean, no different than Germany.
I guess so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's
Get into the Alps and
I bet they've had some challenges, but
yeah, it's going to be, I would think, lower alcohol because it's not as ripe, higher
Yeah.
acidity. But that's one. Again, now we run into the distribution problem. You don't see a lot of Swiss sections at the grocery store or at the wine shop.
Where's your Swiss wine aisle?
Yeah.
Huh? You talking chocolate or
No, you mean knife? No, I'm talking wine, not Swiss knife.
Yeah. Well, cool, man.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode. Anything else we say goodbye, Mr. Carter?
Adios.
The people. I'll speak for the people.
Arrivederci.
I'll speak for the people. They want you back here sooner rather than later.
Okay, all right. Well, if I suck, you just tell Rob. Don't have that.
Let us know in the comments on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.
Cheers, everybody.